Good morning. Welcome to Get Moving. I'm Anna and I'm freezing. I thought we were on the other side of this cold weather, but it's actually cold in this little gym today. I should have let Karen do this, shouldn't I? And he'll be sitting in the warm. Well, as warm as he will sit in, I would guess. So Get Moving. It's Thinking Thursday, and Get Moving is all about exercise for people who typically would find moving a little bit more challenging. So you might have an injury or be living with a disability. You might be getting ready for an operation or post-operation. You might be a stroke survivor. Any number of conditions. You might just not move as well as you would like to. And Get Moving is your way of getting some solid exercise, because we all know that if we all move more, then not only do we benefit physically, but we actually feel better. So, and today, Thinking Thursday, is all about some deliberate practice. So, as Karen would say, going through the motions is good. Moving is what we want you to do lots of. Actually thinking about how you're moving and how you can improve the different exercises that we do is how we get better. So doing what we've always done and expecting things to be different, isn't that a quote from somebody who says that it's the definition of insanity? It might have been. Was it an Einstein thing? I don't know. Karen would know. He might even type if he's going to do Fingers of Fire today. I'm not sure whether he is or he isn't. But if we expect different things and we just do the same thing all of the time, then it makes sense that things aren't going to improve. But if we think about what we're doing and just see if we can do a little bit more or something a little bit differently, then we can progress. So typically, if we change the pace of something faster or slower, that changes the move itself. We can make things more complicated, more complex, and that can change the move itself. And there's a third thing, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it is. Karen, you need to help me out. Change the pace, change the complexity, and change something else. I'll think about it and maybe it will come to me. It's probably because my brain is so cold, because it is so freezing in here. If you are seated today, you will need a resistance band. We're going to add in a little exercise partway through the session, just to add a bit of variety. And if you're seated, we're going to do your version using a resistance band. So if you haven't got one ready, whiz and get one now. But we're not going to do it for a little while, so you have time for that to, for you to go and get one, get your resistance band ready. Okay, let's get moving, because I am starting to freeze. So to start off with, we're going to do 25 seconds worth of each exercise. All the way through, we're going to do each thing twice. So the first time, you can think about, pay attention, how does it feel, what's working well, what's not working quite so well, and then we can change it the second time round. So to start off with, if you are seated, we're marching on the spot, sitting nice and tall, away from the back of your seat, not so that you're going to fall off, safety first, so not so close to the edge that you're going to wobble off, but sitting nice and tall, and we're lifting those legs up, staying nice and tall throughout the move. So marching on the spot. If you are standing, the same, standing nice and tall, and we're lifting those legs up. And we're going to do the first 25 seconds in 3, 2, 1, away we go. So, lifting those knees up. If you need to start with a little bit of a smaller move, that's absolutely fine. Aiming for as big a move as you can do. Big moves are good moves. And we're just getting the blood pumping. We're just getting our body used to the fact that we're going to get moving. So nice and steady to start with. Okay, so now we're going to think about How did that feel? How are we going to change it for the second time? For me, I'm definitely going faster because I want to get my blood pumping and feel a little bit warmer. So for this one, I'm going to do bigger, faster. That's what it is. Bigger moves, faster, bigger, and more complicated. I knew that. I knew it would come to me. So I'm definitely going to do bigger, faster move for this one. So in 3, 2, 1, away we go. So I'm definitely going to get my knees up because I want that blood pumping around my body. My heart rate needs to get up. I need to use these big muscles in these legs and see if I can get a little bit warmer. And I can feel my breathing rate increasing. Remember, you do what you can do. So if your move needs to be smaller than mine, that's absolutely fine. Time. The beeper has gone. Okay, so moving on to the next exercise. And it's the same thing whether you're seated or standing. We're doing shoulder rolls. So again, sitting or standing nice and tall and rolling those shoulders up and back and down. As big a move as you can do. Now, if you can, arms as well. So all the way, arms back by the ears, squeezing those shoulder blades together on your back chest as you move round. So, first 25 seconds worth. In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So, this one is really good for your posture, looking after your upper back and your shoulders. So for your shoulders to move, your shoulder blades have to move on your back, and the muscles in your back have to make that happen. So this works the muscles in your back and gets some movement, which is all good for posture. So have a little think. How did that feel? Was there a bit of stiffness? You might have one side is better than the other, and that's absolutely fine. So you might need to focus slightly differently on one side than the other. So I'm going to try slowing this move down, trying to make my arm movement, take my arms back further and see what happens. My shoulder flexibility is not brilliant, so I'm going to see if I can get a bit more movement through my shoulders. You think about what you're going to do, one thing that you're going to change, and we'll do that now. Second time for shoulder rolls. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So I'm slowing this down and really reaching back. So straight away for me, I can feel the muscles in my upper back, particularly when I get to that point, working much harder. I'm still trying to squeeze my shoulder blades together as I bring my arms down and round. There we go, bit of a tactical waggle there. That's the time for shoulder rolls. Right, back to legs. If you are seated, again, sitting nice and tall throughout, and we're going to kick your feet out to get some movement through your knees. So you're going to be working through the muscles in your legs, plus the muscles in your body to keep yourself sitting nice and tall. If we are standing, same sort of thing. So we're still going for movement through the knees, but now we're kicking our heel back towards our bottom. So the foot comes back towards our bottom. As big a move as you can do. Right, let's see how this feels. Getting as much movement through that knee joint as you can. In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So if you are standing, then this one's going to work your balance a little bit as well. So shifting your weight from one side to the other as you lift that other leg off the floor. And again, you might want to start with a slightly smaller move. Oh, my hands are cold. Okay, there's the first round done. So what are you going to do to change it for the second time? I'm going faster again. I'm going faster and bigger to see if I can get a bit of warmth through my body. I should have put full gloves on, not fingerless gloves on. Okay, so you choose what you're going to do. One thing that you're going to do to make this move better for you. So I'm going faster and bigger with this move. I'll show you from the side to start off with. In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So I'm really trying to kick my bottom. I've actually widened my stance a little bit as well, I've just noticed. So from the front, my legs are a bit wider and I'm sort of rocking from side to side and really kicking that leg back towards my bottom. So I'm using the muscles in my legs far more and my breathing rate was up a little bit and I feel a smidge warmer. Okay, twists, twisty Sarahs. Whether you are seated or standing, nice and tall, and we're going to twist all the way through our spine. Again, another really good move to look after our back. So we want the shoulder to come forward, not just moving the arms. We want as much movement through the body as we can. So let's see how this one feels. In 3, 2, 1, away we go. Even my nose is cold. So you'll be using the muscles in your tummy and your back to twist around. Really bringing that shoulder forwards and keeping breathing whilst you're doing it. That bit's quite important. There we go, so 25 seconds. So how are you going to improve that one? I'm actually going to make it a big twist like I was trying to do then, and I'm going to hold the twist as far around as I can possibly get. So I'm going for as much movement in the spine as I can. So it's probably going to slow things down a little bit and we'll just see how that feels. So you pick what you are going to do. Right, are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So I'm going to twist and then twist a little bit more and hold it and go a tiny bit more at the furthest point of each move. I'm still breathing, you'll be pleased to hear. I can really feel the muscles in my upper back working there to get that little bit more movement. Right, back to legs, double tap. So in particular with this one, if you are seated, there's a real tendency as you lift that knee up twice to drop back so that you end up slouching backwards. And the aim is for you to sit nice and tall so the leg comes up but you don't slouch backwards. So that's something to be aware of whilst you're working through this one. And if we're standing, okay, again, this is going to, my buff keeps jumping off my ears and my ears are cold. If you're standing, the knee comes up to the hand and this one is going to test your balance a little bit more. So if you need to, have some support. Oh, that was 3. Have some support close by and aim for as big a move as you can do. So when you're ready, 3, 2, 1, away we go. So if you need to do a slightly smaller move, remember this is about focusing on what you can do and doing the best that you can do throughout all of the moves. I'm just trying to show you the versions that I can do, but if you need to, you can do them a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger. Okay, so how are you going to change this move so that you can experiment and see how that works for you? I'm going to I did a little triple tap by accident earlier on, so I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go for 3 taps, which is going to test my balance a bit more, and I'm still going to go for as big a move as I can do because I still need to keep the blood working through these legs. Okay, so make sure you have support if you need it. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, away we go. So for me, I'm going for big moves and that 3rd tap. And I'm using that other arm to help keep me balanced. And you know what? I can really feel this in my bum. It's working the muscles of this standing leg in my butt, which is not a bad thing. There we go. Oh, I can feel them. Bit of a tactical waggle in the legs there. Okay, side bends, bendianas, my favourites. So, I feel like I've missed something out. I haven't missed anything out, have I? No, I don't think I have. Right, so side bends, whether you are seated or standing, exactly the same. We're going to reach down one side as far as you can go, and then down the other side. So we're moving through the spine again. If we can, a big stretch up and over with the other arm, so you get a nice stretch down this side. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, away we go. So we're going to reach down and then over the other side. We're not bending forwards, but just pay attention to how this move feels for you. Which bits feel stiff, which bits feel okay. Stretching over with that arm across the top. If you have one side that's better than the other, then you can just bend down one side, miss out the stretch over the top. So how are you going to improve that move? Let me think. I'm going to really increase the stretch of the arm across the top to go for a bit more movement down the other side. So I'm going for more stretch. So it will probably slow things down. Let's see how it works for me. You choose your thing that you're going to change, and in 3, 2, 1, away we go. So I'm really going to stretch over with that other arm, which means I'm reaching a little bit further down my leg. And I can definitely feel the muscles in the side of my body working more. And I can feel that stretch. Oh, I actually feel quite bendy today. One more. I know it's beeped, but I'm just going to finish on this side. There we go. That felt bendier than normal. Maybe my bendianas are working. Okay, sit and stand and squats. Back to our legs. Working on strengthening the muscles in our legs, which is really important. Important for general everyday things, general movement. So the stronger we can keep our legs, if that's possible, the better. If you are seated and you can stand, now is time to try. So your feet come back and your weight comes forward. So you aim for your weight through your feet. And think of pushing the floor away. So as the weight comes forward, pushing the floor away and standing as tall as you can, chest up, hips forward at the top of the move. And then nice and controlled all the way back down. So focus on weight forward, pushing the floor away. And do as many as you can do in the time. If you are standing and you're doing squats, then think of feet apart, knees wide, and weight goes back and down. So the lower you go, the harder the move. Okay, let's see what we can do. In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So down and up. Again, if you need to make the move smaller, that's absolutely fine. Weight goes back, so the weight is out of the knees. The muscles are working, the joint is moving, but the muscles should be supporting the weight. So the lower the move, the harder the move. Okay, I'm going back for pace. I'm going to make it a big move and a little bit faster. Again, just to try and keep my temperature up. You choose what you're going to do for your second time, because the second time is always better. So, as many sit stands as you can do, and let's see what happens with the squats. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. So, I'm going for a big move and a little bit faster. So, I can feel the muscles in my legs working, and straight away I can feel then it's going to get me a little bit more out of breath, which is what I want. So if my muscles are working more, they're going to generate more heat, which is going to warm me up a little bit. There we go, time. Right, now we would normally do ankle mobility here, but we're going to mix it up a little bit. So if you are seated, we're either going to do press ups, and we can use a wall or a bench or a work surface, a table, something to raise your hands so you don't have to do them from the floor. So those of you that have been to our classes will know we don't have to do the press ups from the floor. If you are seated, grab your resistance band. So we're going to do band pushes. So first of all, if you wrap the band sort of across your shoulder blades so it's coming out underneath your armpits. Now I've got a handled band here, and what we're aiming to do is to get enough resistance on that band that we can push against. So for this one, I have to just sort of cross it over and hold on to, make like a handle to hold on to. And we want the band reasonably wide. So when you're pushing out, you can see my hands are just a little bit wider than shoulder width. I've got the band hooked on my thumbs here. So we're going to push the band away and then bring my elbows back in to the floor. To my chest. I'm thinking press ups. Pushing the band away, and you can adjust the length of the band to make it easier or harder. So the shorter the band, the more resistance it's going to give you and the harder it will be to push the band away. If you make the band a little bit longer, then I actually can't feel much resistance on that band at all there. Okay, so you can get yourself set up with your band and have a little practice while I go through the press up version. So if you are doing press ups, whether you're using the wall or a work surface, I'm going to show you on the bench and then I'll quickly show you what it might look like on the wall behind me. Your body stays in the same straight line. So we're going to be using our chest muscles and our shoulders, but we're also going to be using our belly. So your belly helps support you. So from your feet, and your hands are just a little bit wider than shoulder width. Belly is up and bum is tucked under. Can you see me there? Should I move around a little bit more? So I'll show you here and then I'll show you on the wall. So we don't want this to be happening and we don't want that to be happening. So on the wall, we don't want to be like this, or we don't want to be like that. So everything's in a nice straight line. The further your feet are away from the wall, the harder it will be. And we lead with our chest. Don't headbutt the wall, that's a top tip. So think of leading with the chest. If you're using a work surface, lead with the chest and then back up to the top of the move. Keeping your belly sucked in and your bum tucked under all the way through. So we're going to do 25 seconds worth. It's not exactly Roxanne Lynn, but it's a version of. So we're going to do 25 seconds worth and let's just see, let's feel what that feels like. Band push if you're seated, press ups if we are standing. So in 3, 2, 1, away we go. So leading with the chest, are you able to get your chest all the way to either the wall or the bench or the work surface? Are you sitting nice and tall throughout the move if you're doing this seated? Making sure that your belly stays up and your bum is tucked under. So we're not jackknifing. There we go, time. So how did that feel? Were you able to keep a nice straight line? How fast were you going? So for me, I'm going to try and do these a little bit slower. So I'm going to keep concentrate on that straight line and see if I can really slow down the lower and the pushing back up and see what that does. I have a feeling it's going to make it a bit harder, but let's see. Right, so you choose your thing. It might be that you now want to make sure your chest goes all the way, so you're not just doing a smaller move, that you're making the move a little bit bigger. You might want to increase the pace. You choose what you're going to do. I'm going to make it slower, all the way down and all the way up. Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So I'm going for a nice, slow, controlled move. Chest all the way to the bench, and then all the way back up. And I was not wrong. This is definitely making it harder. So now my belly and my chest are working much more than they were before. Oh, I've got to come all the way up, but that's the time. There we go. Right, that was, although it was slower, I still feel like I've worked. That was harder work in my muscles, and my temperature's still up, which is good. Right, ankle mobility. If you are seated, now it's time to get as much movement out of your ankles as you can. So, aiming for, if you can, toe to the floor, heel to the floor. So, exaggerated moves in both ankles. Ankle mobility is really good for general movement and also for circulation. So keeping our ankles moving, we can forget about them because they're at the end of our legs and we're not always watching them. But exaggerated moves through the ankles on both sides. Heel toe, heel toe. For those of us who are standing, tightrope walking. And quick reminder, narrower and as close, heel toe. So we're taking small steps and narrow steps is harder and is going to test your balance. Make sure you have support if you need it. So using a work surface or a banister or the back of the sofa or a trusty person, just to have that support there just in case you need it. The whole point of this is to test our balance. So wobbling is good. Right, oh, I don't need the timer. I nearly started the timer off again. So we're going to go heel toe. And I'm going for narrow. Oh, my nose is cold and my fingers are cold. So heel toe, all the way on your magic tightrope. Magic tightrope? I'm not quite sure why it's magic, but there you go. Right. And then backwards, toe, heel. So I'm keeping as narrow as I can. So you can see I'm wobbling to regain my balance. And I'm using my arms and I'm trying to stay relaxed through the rest of my body. And I'm trying to do as big a move through my ankles as I can. So my toe is touching the heel of the other foot and I'm back to the rower, so I will stop. Okay, so what are you going to do to improve that move? I'm actually going to go for speed. I'm going to go faster and see what happens to my wobble. So you choose what you're going to do. It might be that your feet were a little wider and you might choose to go a little bit narrower. It might be that you choose to use your arms more or less. So experiment and see what happens. So starting back here, my nose is running as well now. It's strange how that happens when it's cold. Okay, so I'm going faster. Arms at the ready. So I'm doing heel toe. I'm trying to keep my toes, my heels with my toes. Oh, I nearly wobbled off that tightrope then. Okay, and then backwards. Toe, heel. Faster feet. That actually, I was wobbling more, and I had a major wobble on that tightrope on the first bit. So I don't know whether that, I think that made it a bit harder for me, although usually a bit of momentum can help with balance, but there is a fine line. So experiment and see what happens. Right, where are we up to? Right, out of breath time. This will be good just for me to finish off because it'll hopefully get me a little bit warmer. We are not doing 25 seconds of fast feet, that is for sure. So we're going to do, let's see where we stop. Oh, not 4 seconds, that's no good, is it? 12 seconds of fast feet. So if you are seated, this is, remember, as fast as you can go, so the best that you can do. So if you are seated, you can build up the pace, start slower and speed up, but running on the spot, small, fast moves, as much as you can. And if you are standing, exactly the same. So small, fast moves running on the spot. And for those of you who are observant, you will see not saying a word. Right, are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, away we go. So running on the spot, T-Rex arms are ready. Keep breathing. Imagine the floor is hot, as fast as you can go, and time. Okay, so my breathing's up, that's good. Right, I'm gonna try and do the more complicated moves. So in and out and in and out. So I'm going to do the weird footwork that Karen tries, which should be interesting. Okay, so another 12 seconds. What are you going to change? A little bit faster? Smaller, faster moves? Out of breath a bit more? That's what we're aiming for. So are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, go. See, so my feet are all over the place. The coordination for me is much harder, but I am working hard, and I had no real idea what was happening with my hands and my feet then, but hey ho, I'm out of breath, so it's fine. And last bit, back to 25 seconds, we're going to do shadow boxing. We're staying out of breath. 3 rounds of shadow boxing. So if you are seated, making sure, twisting through the body. So, oh, that was my shoulder that cracked. So not just arms, we're aiming for using the muscles in your body and a nice big twist. Making sure you're sitting away from the back of that chair. Let me just attach my timer. There we go. If you are standing, still moving our body, so twisting and punching and light on the feet if we can. So are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. First round. Oh, it did go, I didn't hear it start. First round, see how it feels. But should be nice and warm now, so we can work reasonably hard. Remember, move your feet if you can, and twist through the hips. But we're aiming to get that heart rate and breathing rate up. So aim for your target, time. Okay, excuse me, just wiping my nose. So, oh, did I freeze for a little bit? Right, so I shouldn't read the comments. I can see comments coming in when I come closer. So we're going to do the second round now. What are you going to change? I'm going for faster punches. Faster punches on this one, and I'm going to do them sitting down. So I'll just move my bench around a little bit. So you choose what you're going to change. And in 3, 2, 1, away we go. So, fast punches. Going to punch with both hands, and I'm really trying to twist through the body. You can punch to the head or to the body, or a combination of both, but keep those punches going. Oh, it's hard to talk when you're going faster. Okay, time. So faster definitely gets you out of breath more. Moving that out of the way a little bit. So last round now. Third time's a charm. This is the sprint for the finish. So work as hard as you can, for the last 25 seconds. And then I promise you're, oh, my thumb's in. Brilliant. I wasn't concentrating on that. Right, are we ready? In 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm going to keep the speed up because I'm chuffing, freezing, and I want the blood pumping around my body a little bit more. So I'm punching like I mean it. Light on your feet. You do what you can do. Might be fast punches. You might be working on moving your feet more. I don't mind. Okay. Time. That's a Keranism as well, isn't it? I need to stop. I do need to stop. Right. Hopefully, I do feel a little bit warmer. My breathing rate is definitely up there a little bit. Okay, so Thinking Thursday. It's all about experimenting. When you're going through and trying different things, try doing them in a slightly different way. It's really easy to just do things the way we've always done them because that's easier for us. We don't have to think about it so much. Things like, just every single thing that we do. And if we're not careful, we stop thinking about how we can improve. Plus, we can miss out on learning stuff about if we did it slightly differently if we experiment. It can make things a little bit better. It might make them not quite as good. So we learn a little bit from that and then we can adapt next time. So it doesn't really matter what happens, it's just being aware of it. And that deliberate practice in whatever we do can really help us improve. So hopefully that was enjoyable. Hopefully you had a bit of a laugh at my feet. I don't know what was happening with my fast feet. And the T-Rex arms, they always make an appearance. Karen will be back tomorrow for Fitness Friday, where the aim is to get out of breath and stay out of breath. And again, you do the best that you can do. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Stay safe, stay warm, because it is chuffing freezing. And we will see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye, everybody.